Today we're doing a 7-round NFL mock draft. I will be mock drafting against the PFF mock draft simulator, and I will be mock drafting as the NFC East because I think they're fun to mock draft with. The other picks will be done by the mock draft simulator. The PFF mock draft simulator will mess up some picks, just throwing that out there. But I'm going to give you live reactions of my picks, live reactions of what comes off the board, the analysis of the player, and everything else. Before you dig in, though, you need to click that subscribe button right now. We'll do some more mock drafts prior to the draft on top of that player analysis. Off the rip, once the pick happens, load it onto the channel so you know more about your players. When a big pick happens, I will have a video up like I do every year, and we've been doing this for a long time. Click that button, stop missing out. We're starting off here with the simulator. We got 7 rounds to go. Remember, I'm drafting as the NFC East. We're going to get this started now because this can take a long time. Cam Ward should be the first pick here. It is for the Titans. Next should be Travis Hunter. Then after this, I am on the clock. So I could do two things. I could do what the mock drafters are saying right now, and I could just follow what they're doing and go Shedeur Sanders. Or we can just know that every mock draft, or a lot of them right now, and all the rumors are going towards Shedeur Sanders. Other rumors right now, from what I'm seeing on social media, Browns and Giants are fielding calls. I think I hear this every year with some of the top picks, that they're fielding calls. I think I hear this every year, and honestly, I'm just taking things as they come. So we could pretend that pick happened and just watch the rest of the board. Also want to see where it goes. And I can go another player that I can roll with here. My next player I would go with would be Abdul Carter. So if Hunter's off the board, Ward's off the board, it'd be Sanders, Abdul Carter. And honestly, I've not gotten too far where I could think anything else because it's either Hunter, Carter, or going quarterback. I think in this simulation, just to make it a little bit different from other mock drafts, I'm going to go Abdul Carter. Just in case it's a smoke screen. You got 2 quarterbacks. Ashton, Jeanty to the Patriots. That's a new one. There's a lot of talk about trades with that pick. Them and the Raiders. There is talk about the Raiders trading for that pick. I don't take it as real. Shedeur Sanders comes off at 7 to the Jets. Looking at what they got there, I know they got Fields. That might be a good possibility for them. I can see him going to the Steelers. I can see a lot of different range of outcomes. I can see him going to the Giants. I do not see him going to the Browns, but that's in the realm of possibilities. But T-Mac going to the Jaguars. I've been on some podcasts, and that's been up for debate. Like, why not add this bigger wide receiver that can get downfield, good at contested catches? That is the top of the class when it comes to a production profile. And he's a big-time playmaker. Mason Graham would fall then if that happens. And if that does happen, Raiders, possibly, some other positions, but Ashton Jeanty's also off the board. This is a different mock draft. Again, I didn't make these picks. Some people act in the comments like I did, but I'm just reacting and talking about the player and giving an analysis of how it could potentially happen. I am expecting the first round to be crazy. I'm expecting some trades. I'm expecting a few off-ball picks just from the flow of the drafts and the player pools and how shallow some player pools at some positions are and how deep some are than others where teams can wait on those players. Tyler Warren going to the Niners. Like, I do not predict that to happen. And looking at what's on the board, you could go some other routes. You got Will Johnson there. You got Mike Green, Walter Nolan. Walter Nolan's been steaming up. When you think about what you already got, it makes sense. If Will Johnson was off the board and Walter Nolan or Mike Green were gone, or I didn't feel like Mike Green was ready at 11, sure. Or if I felt like I was on the clock, I couldn't trade back, and I felt like Tyler Warren was the guy that could help me the most, sure. I just don't see that happening. That's not a forecast. I'm on the clock for the Cowboys. Very interesting position I'm in because we're looking at wide receiver. T-Mac's gone. The mock drafts, the news, everything saying that we're going T-Mac. That's not in it here for us. Guard is something we can wait on. Edge is always going to be there. Mike Green and edge for Donnie E. I like Mike Green a lot. I would not be surprised if that's the pick for them. I would not be surprised. That seems like a Cowboys pick. Like that boring meat and potatoes pick. Walter Nolan has been gassing up there. I like Mike Green a lot. Also, G.I. Campbell. So when I make this pick, I'm also talking about the realm of possibilities. Luther Burden is a wide receiver that is being underrated. This is a talent that I believe that can really push for a top status, that can be very productive in the right system. This is a talent that should be drafted top 10, top 15, should be up there. And you got wide receiver as a position of need. This is a wide receiver that can help your offense out instantly. You got Mike Green. He's nasty off the edge. I like Campbell as well. I like both those. Campbell's going to be ready for training camp from what we're seeing. I think in this mock draft simulator, we also got Will Johnson there. I like to select Will Johnson. I'm not sleeping on him. I like to select Will Johnson. And I would not be surprised they rolled with him in this situation. I would not. He's that type of talent. He's that type of talent. We're in a luxury right now where we could trade back here. And that could potentially happen. Or if we wanted it, Jeanty or somebody else, we're trading up. That being said, thinking about what's on the board and the drop-off of players, I am going to go Luther Burden here for the Dallas Cowboys. Just going to make it different. And I talked about all the other possibilities and picks that I liked. I think I can go edge in another round and be fine. I'll take the drop-off there. I'd rather have the drop-off at edge than at wide receiver. Campbell going to the Cardinals. Michael Williams going to the Falcons. Seattle taking Jahdae Barron. Bucks going Donnie E. That's a solid player. That's a solid player. He's going to be an impact for your team for a long time. Josh Simmons has been rising the rankings. He was actually higher, then dropped, and is rising back up. Mike Green's been falling in mock drafts. I don't think that should be happening. Omarin Hampton to the Vikings. That could be a nasty selection. That could be huge. I look for him and possibly another running back to go in the first round. This is a loaded running back class. I don't see teams sitting on their hands on these running backs. I just don't see it happening. Gray's Able is going to be a starter for a long time. Shamar Stewart has some upside. Mika Ibuka, he kind of fits well with the Packers there. Mike Green, if he falls to the Chargers, consider that a gift. It's happening on the simulator. I don't think that's going to happen in real life. Look how hard we were looking at him. Walter Nolan's right there. And James Pierce. It does not matter my need. If Walter Nolan's there or James Pierce, I can go either one. Those are top selections. They both fit here for the Commanders. I can also go Matthew Golden. I made some moves at wide receiver. But the thing is, Pierce and Nolan's right there. Pierce and Nolan. I got edge as a position of need. Walter Nolan's a guy that's been steaming up the board the whole time. I also want to see if he falls to the Eagles. So I'm going to go Pierce here. I'm going to go Pierce. Let's see if he falls to the Eagles. I don't think he will. I think the Bills are going to take him. Nope. Nope. Matthew Golden to the Chiefs. That's a huge riser for fantasy football. And it may not be an exact need for the Eagles. But this is a faller in the draft. And the Eagles are in position, Chiefs, Bills, to scoop up a faller if they don't trade out or trade up. Because someone's going to be working at the bit to trade up to get to that faller. There's going to be a faller this part of the draft. That is what that's going to say. And I definitely see it from doing hundreds of mocks. Just messing around. The player pools are weird. Like you're deeper at some positions on the defensive side. But we're very low at quarterback on the top end. So we might get a reach at quarterback. I think Walter Nolan, you have to do it. You just have to do it. Nick Emenwari has been rising stock this whole time. I mean, the Bills selected him. That's not a surprise. Now I'm back up with the Giants. My first pick was Abdul Carter. A lot of people would say, hey, let's go quarterback here. We got Jalen Milroe. That would be a selection we could go with. And that could be it. That could be it. You just get a project quarterback. You go Jackson Dart. You could do that for the Giants. I think Jackson Dart, round 2, early round 2, that Will Levis territory, and you're behind 2 starters. If you're going to do that, I'd do that right now. I think Milroe's more of a project than Dart. Milroe's got more upside with his game, with the arm strength and mobility. And when I mean mobility, I mean top tier. Not just mobility, top tier. Jackson Dart, big-time prospect coming out of high school. Some ups and downs throughout his collegiate career. I don't have him as a first-rounder. I do have him higher than the rest of the quarterbacks. I think right here in the second round, I think that's a good one to get. I think going Abdul Carter and one of those quarterbacks, any of them, when it comes to him, Milroe might be the better way to do it. Safer. It's definitely safer for the long term for that bet. Trevion Henderson to the Raiders. So they're getting speed at running back. That's a huge get for them. They're built pretty well on the offensive line. They got Brock Bowers. Benjamin Morrison's one of my guys. Xavier Watts to the Bears. Tyler Booker falling to the second round to the Jets. That's a gift. He goes in the first round a lot of time. Carson Swissinger, big-time linebacker prospect. Big-time linebacker prospect. And he might actually be the best one in the class. Very productive. Big-time talent. Good get in the second round. Now I'm up here with the Cowboys. My first pick was Luther Burden. And I think that was a fine selection. And Tyler Booker came off the board there. I might have rolled with him. Now, there's good wide receivers here. But Luther Burden, I still like better. And I'm fine with where I'm at. Edge, we got Princely. We're okay. Demetrius Knight's there. Solid prospect. And then after Knight, linebacker fades out a bit. We also need running back. I like Caleb Johnson a lot. I like Caleb Johnson. And I like Quinshon Judkins. And I think after those two, it tears off big time. Scadaboo and Dylan Sampson's up there pretty high on the simulator. I think Scadaboo will go a little bit later, and Sampson might be in the mix. But both these two running backs, Judkins and Johnson, I think they can handle a heavy workload and keep it grinding. Today, I'm going to go Quinshon Judkins. Today, I'm going to go Judkins to the Cowboys. Colts are up. Landon Jackson, edge. Cardinals are up. So for the Cowboys, I don't expect it to be this sexy draft because that's not how the Cowboys roll. I expect them to go meat and potatoes, maybe more Mike Green and maybe a running back or wide receiver second round. Maybe, or maybe cornerback. Cornerback in the second round like a Revel makes more sense for what they would do. Kevin Winston Jr., safety, I like him a lot. A lot of upside to that prospect. Trey Harris, you see the Packers double up a wide receiver. I told you the simulator is going to be weird. Kyle Williams going in the second round, steaming up here. That's the highest I've seen the simulator draft him. Cam Scadaboo to the Texans, getting the next in line for after Joe Mixon. Long-term wise, that could be a great fit for them. And then also, you want to get your guy because there's going to be a running back run in the back of the second, early third. Back up with the Commanders. James Pierce was off the board. That's who I went with. Commanders on the clock. Demetrius Knight's falling in this draft. That's something I was not expecting. Dylan Sampson's still there. I like him a lot. I could wait to pick 128 and go into your offensive line and be fine with that. Due to the talent drop-off, I like Darren Porter. But I can really just slam cornerback later. I could definitely do that. When I'm looking at running back, I could also make the same case. 128. I got Caleb Johnson there. That's one of my backs. I think he could be a bulletproof workhorse. I think that's a good selection there. I was not expecting him to go that far down the board. I was not. Tate Ratledge, usually I get him in the third, but the interior offensive lineman is going to steam up a little bit in this draft. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. The mock drafts are light on the interior offensive line. They're going to get drafted a little higher. Expect about 3 interior offensive linemen to get drafted in the second round. Just position of needs and everything. Scarcity. Demetrius Knight fell to him. Norman Lott fell to him. Alec Aomanor fell to him to the Eagles. We got some good talent looking at this. Aomanor's a good route runner. Very crispy. Good production. Good production as in market share of the team passing yards over 30%. That's top tier. You're looking down here. There's a drop-off at a lot of other positions of need. Guard's a position in this draft where you can wait a little bit because it's not a deep class this year. Edge, it was more at the top. More at the top. Cornerback, it's very pick your poison throughout the draft. We got a lot of picks here. And the drop-off at wide receiver is insane when it comes to talent. I'm going to go Alec Aomanor just due to that. It's going to be harder to pick up wide receivers in the 3rd, 4th, 5th round. Now I'm up with the Giants. Carter, Jackson Dart. I like that set of players. Coming down here. And Ersey's right there, getting us a tackle. Defensive line, though. I'm not huge on Norman Lott. He's fine. He's fine in second round, third round range. Demetrius Knight's a huge prospect. My favorite cornerbacks are off the board. I do like Darren Porter a lot. I think Ersey right here to the Giants. Just adding talent up to the offensive line is something we need to do. Dylan Sampson to the Chiefs. That's a huge pick for them. And they had a lot of injuries last year at running back, so would not be surprised if they go to the running back position this year. And that running back's going to be highly coveted in fantasy football for a long time. Elijah Arroyo going to the Pats, getting some athleticism there at tight end. And then coming down, safety from Texas, going off the board there to the Saints. Huge get. Darren Porter's one of my guys going to the Jets. Cowboys are back on the clock. Last pick, we went Quinshawn Judkins. Before that, Luther Burden. Now we have to try not to be as sexy. We just can't do it. I like Josiah Stewart. I don't know. I'm going to say this. Cowboys like Michigan players. They've proven that the last few years. I mean, there's 2 big draft picks. In the last, 8 years, 5 years, whatever. It hasn't worked out too well. Norman Lott is there. Do I have to draft a guy I don't like? Kyle Kennard is a guy that I've been heavily interested in throughout the process. Interior offensive line, I think we're in the spot here in the third round where we could think that. And the Cowboys will reach on players. So we're looking at guard. Miles Frazier's been a riser. Our next pick's 149. We got Willie Lampkin there in that range. And Connor Colby. All those guys could push to be a starter down the road. So if I'm looking for straight upside, running back would have been nice here at RJ Harvey, but they're also in a position to draft 2 backs, but they're probably not going to do so realistically because they're stubborn with those veterans. The thing is, I like Josiah Stewart. I do like him. I said that thing about Michigan players to Dallas, but we're going to get things right here in the third round. Plus, it's cheaper. Third round's cheap. You can actually look at backups, too. RJ Harvey to the Patriots, that's a huge get for them. There's going to be a lot of good fantasy selections at running back this year. A lot of teams with good offenses could swing for the fence at running back this year. Kyle Kennard, edge to the Colts. I like him. Norman Lott to the Bengals. They need a stacked defense with how they got their contracts situated. Damian Martinez to Seattle. Jalen Milroe going to the Steelers. I'll pay a third for him. That's fine. I'd pay a third round for Jalen Milroe. I think that's fine. Terrence Ferguson, steal the third round. That's a solid tight end prospect. Chris Paul's a solid prospect. I like him too. I like him for a lot of teams. Noel Williams comes off the board. Jared Wilson. So we're seeing a simulator go after interior offensive line a little bit more today. Jack Sawyer. Always forgotten about. I always forget to scroll down far enough to look for him. Browns go quarterback here in the third round. Wyatt Millen comes off the board to the Chiefs. One of my favorite tackle prospects when we're looking at the middle rounds. I'm back up with the Eagles. We've been sexy so far, but things have been falling to us, and we've been taking it. The reason why we went Elikeo Manor over other positions is because the drop-off at wide receiver. Like Restapro, I would take Elikeo Manor big time over Restapro. He might be productive in the right situation, but if I'm building talent, like, it's dead. It's dead. Like, the wide receiver spot's dead right now. And we're in the back end of the third round. So, I'm cool. That's why I did that. That was the process. I knew that. That's one of the positions I study hardcore. Edge, cornerback. I like Cameron Williams. I think that's a steal. DJ Giddens is a steal, but do I really need running back? Gillette's there. Dorian Strong's one of the corners I like. Jacob Parrish is a corner I like. If I'm looking at corner. If I'm looking at guard, interior offensive line. Miles Frazier, Dylan Fairchild. Next pick is 134. I could wait. I can just pick up Frazier. Played in the SEC. Ranked 128. Just reach on him a little bit or just wait. The middle to late rounds, that's where you're going to see some of the guards come off, but I think they're going to get pumped up in the real draft. Cameron Williams is the best selection here if you're going best player available, unless you go running back. Gillette's there. Elijah Roberts. I'm going to go with one of my guys. I'm going to go with Dorian Strong. Another thing, I can go Harold Fanning here. Get me a tight end. I've dealt with injuries at tight end last year. We got by. Fanning was very productive. I like Dorian Strong a lot. But we went cornerback heavy last year. Maybe we can go lighter. We got a lot of picks coming up. We do got a lot of picks coming up. I'm going to go Cameron Williams. There's going to be a drop-off attack. I got a lot of picks, 134, 160. They're going to be trading. They're going to be trading. I know cornerback I can slam in the middle of the rounds and be fine. I'm sure they've studied enough to do so, to know that. Now I'm on the clock here. And I went tackle, edge, quarterback, Giddens. Harvey's off the board, right? Giddens is one of my guys. Harvey's off the board. I'm going Giddens right there for the Giants. Just instantly. Easy pick to make. Now we got 2 good running backs on the roster. We got a lot of upside. Restrepo going to the Rams. That's actually a fit if he can develop there. So he can be productive more than what his talent says he would be. But now we're going to the Giants. We just went running back. We have Theo Johnson there, so we don't really have to go tight end in the 4th round, even though that's a steal. Devin Neal's on the board. We can't go running back again. I like Jacob Parrish, like I said. I'm going Jacob Parrish, filling out that need. Defensive line, it's light. It's light. I'm going Jacob Parrish. Boom. There we go. Patriots coming off the board. Harold Fannin. Need to come off the board sooner than later. Got a good athletic tight end there. Racking up statistics there at Bowling Green. And watching the picks come off the board. Edge from Texas. Devin Neal to the Jets. I don't expect them to go running back unless they do something with Breece Hall. RJ Mickens, safety. Elijah Roberts. And I'm not projecting that. That's just like they got so many running backs. They keep drafting running backs. But they keep drafting running backs. So they may keep drafting running backs. Cameron Jackson, defensive line, Florida. Torrey Horton, wide receiver. Sanker, safety, Virginia. Going to the Colts. Tyler Batty. Eds, BYU. Falcons. Gunnar Helm in the 4th round. I see him being in the 4th round, day 3, early day 3. Maybe late day 2. Billy Bowman. Kobe Bryant, I like him a lot. Ty Robinson to the Broncos. Dave Walker, edge to the Packers. They finally don't go wide receiver. Jaguars. Baza comes off the board. Back on the clock with the Commanders. I got some players I like looking at me. I like Castro a lot. They're saying cornerback, interior offensive line, running back. I went edge and halfback so far. Looking at interior offensive line. Miles Frazier's there. If I'm looking at guard, that's a good guy. I like Dylan Fairchild. I usually go that. However, my next pick's at 205. Drop off. Even though there's guys I like deeper, all the guys I like's gone. So I got to pick between Frazier and Fairchild. I've not drafted Frazier yet. He's either sniped or I just don't go that way. So we're doing that just to have something different for me. Just to keep me interested. But I also like Fairchild. And Lions are going Dotson. Saints going edge from Boise State. Cornerback from Minnesota goes to the Bills. Joshua Farmer. Now I'm up here. So looking at what's available here. Looking at the positions of need. You got edge there. We went tackle, wide receiver, defensive line. Cornerback is something to go cheaper on. Did we go guard yet? We have not. Dylan Fairchild going off the board. And this is tremendous value. I expect him to go in the 3rd round. I expect him to go day 2. I expect the guards to get bumped up. But I kind of know the simulator too well where I can play games with it now. That's the thing about this. I know the simulator so well that I can play games with it. Tez Johnson going to the Niners. Back into the 4th round. Technically, you can call that early 5th if you want. It's the same pocket of value. 38 versus 39. 138 versus 139. But still, a developmental prospect. Great route runner. Very sticky routes. Can create separation. He's going to be a good asset for his NFL team. Isaiah Bond in the 5th round. Faller here in the PFF rankings. Probably due to the legal issues. Huge upside, though. Rucker coming off the board. Seth McLaughlin coming off the board to the Bears. And some great picks. Riley Leonard as a developmental backup. 149 here for the Dallas Cowboys. I went Luther Burden, Quinshon Judkins, Josiah Stewart. And it's been a sexy draft so far. And I got Barrett Carter there looking at me in the face. But Willie Lampkin is one of my guys. He's nasty. He's got shorter arms, but he's nasty. He's got a motor to him. I want him. I just want him. And there we go. And we got him in the 5th. We got him in the 5th. He's going to go earlier than that, at least a round earlier. He ain't falling that far, guys. He's not falling that far, chat. It's just not happening. Jordan Hankin, safety, Cardinals. They're really underappreciating the interior offensive linemen. I get talent-wise, it's not up there compared to other years, but you still need them. You need the depth, and teams are going to pay up for that. Jack Kaiser is one of my guys going to the Bengals. He's going to be a nasty linebacker for whoever gets him. We went tackle in the 3rd, halfback, back-to-back K-State guys. Other positions of need, tackle, defensive line. I don't think we have to attack any position in the 5th round. Just looking for names that stand out to me that shouldn't be here. Because, Tim Smith, 177. My next pick's 219. That's something I could reach on and be fine with. I could reach on that and be fine with. Actually, Kobe King at linebacker. Looking here at the top. Emory Jones at tackle. I think that's a hell of a talent there. But not like it's the greatest. Ty Hamilton from Ohio State. We're going to go Ty Hamilton from Ohio State to the Giants. There we go. Book it in. 5th rounder, going to fight up the depth chart. Emory Jones coming off the board. That's a big talent there in the 5th round. That's a huge talent. He's going to go higher than that. Offensive line is just pumped down the board in the rankings. I think that's underappreciated. That's what's going to make these drafts weird. Another thing, like we're looking at mock drafts, you're looking at values, and that's what's going to make this draft weird once you get to the 2nd round. Like, interior offensive line and tackles can't fall this far. They just can't fall this far and keep happening. Like, you can't keep being underappreciative for them. Dylan Fairchild, Cameron Williams, we attacked the offensive line. Just taking the values here. They're in a position, they're drafting the back half of the 1st round. They get those back picks, 161, 164, so they can take what falls to them. And it could be a nasty draft. You don't always look at position of need. Like wide receiver. Like, I ain't going to keep going there. Guard, I got my guard. Edge. Like, the fact that I was able to get Walter Nolan there. Like, edge isn't, like, something I have to do. Like, we're not tremendously there at the edge rusher position. Like, there's a huge drop-off. RJ Oben, okay. I can wait. Cornerback is something I said I could spray and pray at the back half of the draft. I can definitely do that here. And I feel like it's the time. And I think I'm going to go Elijah Huzzy, but I can wait. I got a lot of picks. I got all my picks coming up in a row. So Zaya Alexander, and I might go another corner just to add depth and competition in camp. But Chase Lunt off the board. Eagles are back up. Look at running back right now. Mullins, Basil Tootin. Basil Tootin mixed in with what they have there with Saquon Barkley. That might be the sexy pick. Also got Ollie Gordon and Woody Marks. I'm going to take a running back with pick 168. Mitchell Evans is there. Looking at what's there. If you want to look at edge, maybe there's an edge that's just not in the rankings that I like. Sometimes that happens. It's dead. It's dead when it comes to top talent. You got quarterback. You can go backup quarterback if you want. I don't feel pressed for that. I just want cornerback. Luke Kandra, come on down. Get another guard. It's 5th round. This is competition for camp. More upside here. Back on the clock here with the Eagles. And then here at 165, we're going to go Craig Woodson. Let's get a safety. Screw it. Mumfield was a big-time producer early. Back here, let's go look at the running backs. They got Mullings pretty high. Monaghan is pretty good between tackles. Basil Tootin's a good fit for this team with what they already got. Down here, I like Woody Marks. I like Ollie Gordon. I like LaQuint Allen. Haven't drafted much Basil Tootin in these mock drafts. I think he's going to go more like 4th round, maybe late 3rd. But I think he's a great fit with what they have. Just adding that speed element to this team. Just a tremendous weapon. And I look at everything on the board. What could put me over with what I already got? What could put me over? That's that 4.3 speed. The ability to run between the tackles. You're looking at what? maybe if we get starter reps, or not starter reps, but reps in games to that point, not just like an RB3 or a practice squad player, you're looking at a guy getting like 5 to 8 touches a game, if that's, or not that many snaps, but you can be a home run hitter with those. That's what we're looking at. And when I look at the Cowboys, I think we're in position here where we're just going to have to take what's there, because edge is just not going to be there right now. I think Tim Smith is a huge get. I think that's a huge get. We already went edge. I think Tim Smith is perfect here, and it's appropriate. He's one of my guys for the 5th round here in the back end. I think that's appropriate. Just add depth there. You always need depth there to move in and out. You do not chase that here in the later rounds. You just take the players you want. You either want to take players to fill out for camp battles, or trying to scrape together a roster, or honestly, just take that talent that falls to you. A lot of times the talent's just going to fall to you. You should be just taking it. Just taking the best player available. Honestly, that is just what I believe. Take the best player available and roll with it. And the tier to break off players is your needs. After that, just take the best players. Just take the best guys. Also, don't take a second rounder. Don't take a round lower on a player just because you need that position. And a lot of teams know that. But I think a lot of people expect. I like Kobe King. Kobe King going to the Titans here. Quinn Ewers just getting another body there. And with the Colts competing there, I think that's a good thing to have there with what they got there. Like 2 very ambiguous quarterbacks. Kyle McCord, solid production at Syracuse last year. Turned things around. RJ Oben, edge. Edge is very light here in the later rounds. It should be. Colin Oliver, it's a money position. It's a money position. It holds more weight. It holds more value. On the clock is the Rams. Riley Mills comes off the board. Ravens are up. Tyler Cooper. I probably would have drafted Cooper for the Cowboys. I probably would have. So we hit all our positions of need. Going to check the interior offensive line, just in case there's one of the guys I really like. There's some teams I like. Some guys I kind of like for later. We got a lot of picks here in the cheap rounds. Cody Simon's right there. I think I already went linebacker. No, I thought about going linebacker in a second with Demetrius Knight there, and I didn't. Cody Simon, good prospect. Coming down here looking for other Denzel Burke. 216, I pick at 211. We're going Buckeyes. This is going to be a Ohio State team because I'm getting Denzel Burke with that next pick. Maybe, or I choose to do so with the Commanders. Miles Frazier, Caleb Johnson, James Pierce, Sexy Draft, Zah Frazier, Jake Majors is there. Guard, we have Miles Frazier already. Jason Marshall, Denzel Burke, come on down because we know the Cowboys are looking at Buckeyes today. And we need a cornerback, not a pressing need, 6th round, big-time talent. Joyner going to the Bills. Badger going to the Jets. Kyle Munagai going to the Broncos. Keandre Lambert-Smith. Zah Frazier going to the Ravens. We lost out on Denzel Burke. That's okay. Looking at what's there. We could go another running back. Would be a good running back to pair here. And that would be Ollie Gordon. Just getting that size. Going 2 backs here. Let him fight for a roster spot. That's what I would do. I would go Ollie Gordon there. Now you're set. Like, you really think Miles Sanders is going to make it through training camp? He might. He's a training camp dandy. Jake Majors, good center. Like, he plays his best in training camp. Like, just look at all the news and stuff during training camp from last year. Then we got in the season. It just went bad. Interior offensive line, something I'm looking at here. Honestly, we're going with the center from USC. Honestly, I just want to get more bodies for the interior offensive line. More competition for camp. Giants are on the clock. Ty Hamilton's on the board. We got 2 7th-round picks. Did we go quarterback? We did. We went Jackson Dart. There's no reason to go for a backup. We got too many quarterbacks on the roster. We would have to just drop them anyways. Cody Lindenberg's there. I think that's a solid prospect. I think that's a very solid prospect. I'm going Lindenberg there. I think he goes a little bit higher than this in the real draft. I think he fell. I'm going to take the value. I don't even care who I drafted prior. I don't care if I already drafted a linebacker. It's 7th round. If a talent I really like's there in the 7th round, I'm just going to take it. I'm just going to take it and run. Honestly, it's just the 7th round. Waiting for some big money picks to come off the board. Tight end to the Chiefs. That could be a tight end that hangs out on the depth chart that just gets its opportunity that everybody flocks to in fantasy football. Nick Nash, roster fodder for the Lions. They're pretty good at wide receiver right now. Unless they do something with Jameson Williams, which is Jack Nelson coming off the board. Back to Jameson Williams, though. There's rumors about him being traded. I don't trust it. I don't trust any of the rumors right now. I'm just waiting for what comes. Antoine Wells Jr. coming off the board. Jimmy Horn going to the Texans in the 7th round. That's a good get. That's a good get. Gets you some depth. You've made some moves. Taj Brooks coming off the board. So, for the Cowboys, we got 2 more picks left. We're cashed out at running back. Raheem Sanders is there. Looking at quarterback for a backup, I like Jay Higgins. But we went Cody Simon in the 6th. But I do like Jay Higgins a lot. So, I'll remember that for one of my other teams. But they're not going to be there. Looking at wide receiver, Theo Weiss, no. Ricky White, come on down. That's easy selection. Ricky White to the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I believe he should be drafted higher. I believe he's more of a mid-round selection. But at Michigan State, that was during the COVID year of 2020. Had a good game against Michigan. Then went to UNLV. Has been productive. He's twitched up a bit. Not the fastest guy. Jay Higgins off the board. Quick to the Falcons. Now I'm on the clock. I am on the clock with the Commanders. I've drafted Caleb Johnson. We had injuries at running back last year. It's a 7th round selection. Woody Marks there, LaQuinn Allen. I like them both. I got Marks a little bit higher than Allen in my rankings, so I'm just going to follow what my rankings say. I'll have rankings out prior to the draft soon. Giants are up. We've already went running back, right? We went running back. We went Giddens in the 3rd. It's the 7th round. LaQuinn Allen's there. It's a New York guy. Looking at other positions here. Just looking for fallers that I like. I like Lashley. I like him. Reddy Cook. LaJohntay Wester for the slot. But you're already good in the slot with what you got. Andre Gadsden. Just looking here. Will Shepard. Nobody's really making me excited. Nobody's really making me excited. Like, who could be a difference maker for this team? Or could surprise us? Honestly, the biggest surprise option might be LaJohntay Wester. Very productive throughout his collegiate career. Very productive. 1 year at Colorado, 9 touchdowns behind Travis Hunter. At FAU, 1,000-yard seasons, back-to-back 700-yard seasons after being a 0-star prospect. He just deserves some love. Cowboys are up. I forget what we were talking about him, but we've already maxed out at running back. Going down here, looking at guys I like. I like Lashley. We're doing it. We're doing it. Getting a tight end in the 7th round, that's totally a Cowboys move. What they would do is probably draft Helm in like the 4th or something. And he'd sit there and then becomes the guy getting peppered with targets. Breaking off routes by Dak or whoever's the next quarterback. That's probably what they'd do. That's the Cowboys way. Just get a tight end in the middle of the draft. Let them sit on the depth chart for a couple years. They get a couple years as a starter. Then they move on from them. Chiefs are up, and that's it. That's it. Let me know what you think about this mock draft here. 7 rounds. NFL drafts tomorrow. I'll try to run one more mock draft before it happens. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.